How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Rowlett, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today I want to talk about a subject which I think you guys may enjoy, which is, will we ever get to see Pokemon Let's Go Johto? This is something that a lot of people have been considering, and a lot of people want it, a lot of people do not want it, so I thought we'd just jump into the subject and see all the pointers towards one side and all the pointers towards the other side, as well as some information that just came out from Central Pokemon in regards to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, as well as the potential future of the Let's Go franchise. So let's get started. So yesterday was the 16th of November, which was also the, I guess, 2-year anniversary, 3-year actually, I think it's 3 years now, right? The 3rd anniversary of the Pokemon, Let's Go games. Actually, I think it's the 2nd anniversary, right? Because it was 2018 that it came out, then 2019 was Sword and Shield, 2020 the DLC. So yeah, the 2nd anniversary of the Let's Go games. And what was kind of made as a point here by Central Pokemon was specifically some things that he mentioned here. So here's what he says in his tweets, and the last thing he mentions is the most interesting. So let's go through all the tweets, shall we? So here's what it says. Today marks 2 years since the launch of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, the first games of the main Pokemon saga for Nintendo Switch. These games stood out for breaking schemes, yet simplified gameplay for new players. Which, yeah, it was definitely simplified gameplay for sure. Then he continues on saying that Pokemon Let's Go was created because Game Freak began to realize with so many mechanics that, Pokemon, the saga has become quite complex, mainly for new players who came through Pokemon Go, which is much simpler and more popular than the main saga. Apparently, that's what they say. I don't think it is more popular than the main saga, but whatever. They think that maybe, but I don't think it's more popular than the main games. I mean, sure, Pokemon Go is popular, but I would still argue the main series is better and more popular. But maybe that's just me. They then say here, reducing the complexity of Pokemon is something that has remained very present in the directions or directors of Pokemon. I guess the directions, I don't know. With decisions such as limiting the number of Pokemon and movements available in Sword and Shield, as well as removing old mechanics. They continue on saying, creating a Pokemon saga that is accessible to new players with less complexity remains a priority for the Pokemon Company and Game Freak. We will see the results of these efforts in the coming years. Now, this is where it gets interesting. They say, we will see the efforts of this, kind of results of this in the coming years. Now, what do they mean by this? Well, I have a bit of a theory for what I think is going to happen with the Let's Go franchise and where I think it's going to go in terms of direction and what they're going to do with it. And I think it's a pretty good speculation and theory, so hear me out. Now first, we have to establish, is it worth for them to make more Let's Go games? Yes, it definitely is, okay? So Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee sold about 11 million copies, or I think about 12 million by this point. I may be wrong about the exact numbers here, but they did sell quite well, okay? They sold several million, they made a lot of money, and also, they took them way less time to produce. Remember, this is the biggest thing about Let's Go you got to keep in mind. They're much easier for Game Freak to create. Again, it's a remake, but also, it's a remake that does not feature every single Pokemon. There's less of that needed for them to actually get it out there, so they just need to include way less Pokemon. It's much easier of a job than having to basically create a brand new region with brand new Pokemon, brand new forms, brand new, abilities, brand new moves, brand new everything, right? Like, that's a big difference there. There's a lot more effort needed for the, the second option here, whereas the first option, the remake, is always going to be easier, especially the Let's Go remakes, which are much simpler than our other remakes like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Fire Red, or Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, because, out of all those, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee's remake, or whatever you want to call them, those games were probably the simplest remakes we've ever gotten, though they had some interesting features to them, right? The open world, the Pokemon in the open world was fantastic, right? How seeing Pokemon in the open world, shiny hunting was the most fun it's ever been in Let's Go. I think that was the most fun shiny hunting we've ever gotten. The biggest issue, though, was, of course, the catching method, the lack of any sort of post-game, which was really boring. There's nothing to do once you finish the game. That's probably one of the biggest issues with it, right? But that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is, the sales were decent on the game, and it's an easy product for them to make, much easier, again, so that's enough of an incentive to want to create more, because they already have proof that it sold pretty well, and they have proof, right? Also remember, the Let's Go games came out when there was way less Switches in circulation. Now there's way more people that have, a Switch console, which means there's also probably more people likely to buy the next remake, at least I would argue so. Now, let's get into the biggest subject. So, what I mostly think is going to happen here is that the Let's Go games, like the Let's Go franchise, as you would call it, right? I think it's going to become essentially the kind of in-betweener game, right? The game to fill in the gaps in between those years where they may not have a third version anymore, or if they haven't planned any sort of DLC. Or also, my biggest point is, like, if we look at, currently what's coming, down the line, right? So 2021 is most likely Gen 4 remakes. I think we've kind of established that at this point. There's so many pointers towards it, and also it just makes sense because it's the 15th anniversary, so it just makes sense that next year is going to be, the Gen 4 remake year. Now, if we establish that, then 2022 is most likely guaranteed to be Generation 9. Now, you may think, oh, it's too early, right? It's too early. But no, it's perfect timing, right? Generation 7, right? Gen 7 came out in 2016, right? When did, Gen 8 come out? 3 years later, right? In 2019. 2016, 2019, boom. That's 3 years. Guess what? 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. That's 3 years. So Gen 8, so Gen 9 is about to come out in 2022. Most likely because they follow that formula for literally well over 2 decades at this point, I think. I think it's about 2 decades at this point. Maybe sometimes where it was about 4 years, but the last, I think 4 generations have been in that pattern, right? I think the last 4 have been in that 3-year cycle pattern, right? And the big thing you gotta remember, right? The upcoming generation is the non-remake year, okay? So keep in mind this as well. The remakes have kind of been doing them, they've been making them every other generation, right? So in generation, 4, we had Gen 2 remakes. In Generation 5, there was nothing. In Generation 6, there was ORAS. Then, in Generation 7, there was no remakes, but we did get Let's Go, which I think is going to become the kind of the filler remake in between those years where we don't get like a big remake like, Gen 4 or ORAS or Heart Gold Soul Silver. I think that's what they're going to do. That's my theory. I talked about this a little bit with PokeShopper on one of my live streams here on YouTube, which, by the way, stick around for those whenever we do them. I might do one very soon. Just right now, a lot of things going on, a lot of content to be made. So basically, I think that what's going to happen is that the Let's Go games are going to replace those years where we never got remakes, right? So, for example, those generations where we don't get remakes, right? So, Generation 7, there was no remake there, but then Let's Go came and kind of became that, the new kind of new sort of remake, the smaller remake, you could call them, I guess, or the micro remake, if you want to call it that. That's what the Let's Go games sort of are, and I'm assuming that's what they want to probably do with them. I think their goal, most likely with that, is to make those Let's Go games into the sort of remakes that they just do when they are not working on a bigger project like, Generation 4 remakes, or in the future, maybe like, in Generation 10, because Generation 9 is next, and in Generation 10, they're going to do another big remake of Gen 5, most likely, and guess what? The year after that is the time after that, sorry, is Generation 11, and then they can do another Let's Go game to kind of fill in the gaps. Because that's the thing, they gotta kind of keep releasing games if they want the franchise to stay alive. They have to, because without the games, like right now, for example, if they don't release like the DLC or the games or release brand new Pokemon, there's less and less TCG cards to make. There's less and less merchandise to make, and guess what? The TCG, the merchandise, just all that stuff makes a lot of money. Okay, it makes a lot of money. So they gotta churn that shit out there. So yeah, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about Let's Go? First of all, did you enjoy Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee? If yes, why? What did you enjoy about it? Did you enjoy the whole game or just aspects of it? Like, for example, myself, I enjoyed aspects of it, but hated other aspects of it. Like, some stuff I freaking despised, whereas other stuff I loved. Like, for example, the mountable Pokemon. You being able to fly around on, like, Dragonite and stuff was freaking awesome. On top of that, having following Pokemon. On top of that, the shiny hunting. And then on top of that, there was also, like, just a kind of a more fluid gameplay in it, right? Also, the graphics were pretty kind of adorable. They kind of really worked. They weren't like, too in your face or too, jagged to your eyes, right? Like, they just really worked really well. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section down below, guys. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts and opinions? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. My name is theorize. I'll see you all the next time. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.